wanted to wrap up with a segment around this concept of consistent consistency, because I feel it's really important, and I've talked to quite a few of my athletes about it over the last about 6 months anyway, and it's something that really hits home with a lot of them, and I've noticed some big changes for those people that have actually started to implement this concept of consistent consistency. And I can see a lot of people listening and thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Wouldn't you just call it consistency? Is that not the same thing as consistent consistency? So I just want to make a bit of a differentiation because I believe it's kind of important. But I think if you can nail consistent consistency or apply consistent consistency, and this is probably going to be one of the podcasts that has the most ever uses of the word consistent and consistency in the history of podcasts, because I'm going to say it a lot. But what's the difference between consistent consistency and, let's say, consistent inconsistency? So if you can imagine, if someone's consistently inconsistent, these are the type of people that they can't even string a couple of weeks of training together. Every week they train or they approach their program, they're missing sessions. They're consistently inconsistent with their training. What about inconsistently consistent? So the opposite, inconsistently consistent. So an inconsistently consistent person is someone that they say, right, I'm going to get back on the wagon. I'm going to get on this program. I'm going to absolutely smash it out. I'm going to revisit my base, and I'm just going to put this really big week. I'm going to get back on the program, so to speak. And they get back in their training, and they put in some really big weeks, and then something happens. And they fall off the wagon again. And then a couple of weeks later, like, right, this is it. Getting back on the program. This is my year now. Just give me the biggest program you can, and I'm into it. And they put in some really big weeks, and they're going really well, and then they fall off the wagon again. So that's what I would say, the inconsistently consistent. Whereas the person before, the consistently inconsistent one, is they're always just training, but they're always inconsistent with their training. So we don't want to be those two. We don't want to be the consistently inconsistent guy, or we don't want to be the inconsistently consistent guy, because I don't think they give you very good results at all. And this is where it comes in, is the consistent consistency. You're always consistently training. You're doing the right sessions at the right time. And then it's all about not necessarily putting in huge volumes, but if you're consistently consistent with your training, it's about all of those little differences adding up over time to give you the result that you're after. And this doesn't just apply to training. I think it applies really importantly to nutrition. Same kind of concept. You'll see those people that are, right, I'm going to get on a nutrition plan. And then they go really consistent for a while, and then they fall off the wagon. Or that person that is always just yo-yoing up and down. Whereas the consistently consistent person, over time, small changes add up to give the result. Being consistently consistent is quite boring, right? It's just about doing the right thing all the time. But if you put in the effort at being consistently consistent, I think that's where all the results come from. You look at the most elite endurance athlete. They are not there because they put in a big month of training. 1 month out of 12 doesn't really make a big difference. But if you put in 12 months of training, that's where it comes from. And they're consistently consistent with those sessions that they do. Same thing with our stretching, our rolling, our mobility work. A one-off session doesn't do or result in everything, in anything. It is the consistently consistent application of rolling, of stretching, that gives us that mobility that we're after. Same can be applied for sleep as well. One good night of sleep doesn't fix a consistently inconsistent sleep pattern. And the list just goes on in terms of where this can be applied, and not only with our training either, but in other life as well. work, finances, relationship. Being consistently consistent is such an important thing across the board, I believe. But not wanting to get onto too much of a philosophical talk here, but when it applies to training, if you want to meet your goal, whatever that might be, being consistently consistent is where it's at. And if you decide to take that and pop it into other places of your life, I can almost guarantee being consistently consistent is going to be the winner on the day. Well, over multiple days.